Hi everyone, I'm going to tie a tube fly for you, a pike tube fly. I'll use this for northern pike, bull trout, lake trout, other predator fish as well. It's a fairly good sized fly, about 7 inches in length. And with the tube fly design you can quickly extend those patterns out to 12 inches or 14 inches if you desire. But I'll just show you how we start this. I'll take this one off. I'll take a tube, heat up the end so that it kind of melts and curls up a little bit. So it'll become a bit of a stop for me. And I'll attach that onto my tube. Make sure it's on nice and firm. And I'll run some nano silk white in a 6/0. I'll just readjust the vise here a little bit. And the way I start is I start building dams right away, and I'm using some nano silk 15mm blob chenille at the back here to create a bit of a dam for my deer hair to go over. And it's also easier for me to find the end of the tube as well when I'm stringing my fly onto my leader. Make sure that's good and tight. Having some difficulty with my thread here. And just make that sure, like I said, it's just good and tight. Throw a half hitch in place. Secure that. And that'll be the first part of my dam. Now I'll add on a little bit of red or yellow deer hair, bucktail. And I'll use in the back of the fly, I'll use the darker stuff on the bucktail. It's also a little shorter. And it makes for a nice little dam without getting a very long tailing end. I'll just cut that off, clean this up by just brushing it out a little bit. And I'll apply this and we'll just spin that around the pattern. Just make sure it's all sort of level all the way around and cinch tight. You can see that splays out quite a bit. Now that's a lot of pull. Again, pull that good and tight. And we'll throw in a half hitch at this point. And now I'll just take the butt ends and clear that away. And I use a material called Mercury 300, or an M5T. It has a lower viscosity, very thin. I'll just add that a drop of it there, and that'll secure the whole pattern. Now what I'll do is I'll take some predator fiber, a good skein of it here, and we'll pull out a little swack of it, trim it off, and then filter out the ends or taper out the ends by Just pulling on it. And then, so we'll have a big little mustache here, and we'll find the halfway point, which is roughly here. Lay half of it on top. Again, working it around the tube somewhat. And then split the rest and pull it in from underneath. And that will lock it down in place. And we'll just tighten that with a half hitch again. There's probably enough the mercury material on there to soak into the white predator fiber as well. So you could put another drop on, but you certainly don't need to. So you can see how this is sort of dammed up and made everything flare somewhat. Pike love patterns that breathe, open and close, so I like tying it in that fashion quite a bit. So next I'll throw in a little bit of yellow bucktail. And again, we'll just clean the ends off a bit. Sort of figure out my length. I don't really want to go over a third of the overall length of the pattern, so we'll just lay that in on top, and again spin it. Make sure it's even all the way around. Tighten up a bit more, and half hitch right in that V that we've created between the front section and the back section. Pull tight, a couple of half hitches, pull good and tight, make sure that's all nicely spread, which it is. So at this point we'll trim from the thread forward. Just take small clumps, lay my scissor in, and just clean that up nicely. Okay. And just make sure it's good and secure. Sometimes after you trim, it'll loosen itself off a little bit, but just tighten it up again. And then at this point I'll just add another drop or two the M5T. And next I'll throw in, now I'm going to throw in a little crystal flash, a few strands of red, but I'm going to tie them, half of it laying to the back and half laying forward. And this, because of the position, the stuff at the front of the fly here will lay on the very top of the fly pattern when I'm finished. And you'll see how I do that. And now I'll throw in some red angel hair, a little bit laying out the back, most of it out the front. Again, make sure it's not all the way around, but certainly there's a good portion of it that's just on top. And then I'll throw in a half hitch here, move everything out of the way. And if you want, you can brush this out a little bit. Gives you a bit shows you a bit of the effect it'll have. Sure that's on there tight. Okay, so we're sort of divided there, half and half. And now I'll take some red bucktail, which I have laying on the floor. And again, a nice swack of it again. Again, just try using the part that was traditionally white on the deer tail and the longer fibers. And cut them flush to the skin. And I'll clean that up a bit. You know, for the size of fly, they're actually fairly fast and easy to tie, so it's one of the reasons I like them. So I'll overlap this 3/4 of an inch to an inch. And just make sure that that red is all the way around. Again, pulling tight. And it should flare it a little bit. And at this point I'll whip finish the pattern. And pull nice and snug, make sure that's all good and tight. And if you feel it's not tight enough for you, just certainly nothing wrong with throwing in a second whip finish. So again, we have a bit of a dam here that'll force the other material to move up and around it. And I'll finish off by making sure all my angel hair, I'll just pull it near the end here, comes to the top. Take a head where I've preset the eyes on it. Make sure the angel hair is nice on top. And we need to do, put a couple of drops in here. Add on a little bit more in there because I actually want it to penetrate through the hair and get onto my head. And when I squeeze it in place, hold it there for a bit. And now we can brush out the head. And remove the pattern. And we'll clip off in the front, maybe almost a 1/4 inch in front of the head itself, and then we'll take a lighter and finish off the fly pattern. And just melt that back. And now I'll just run it in the head while it's still soft. Make sure that's all nicely round. And there we have a tube fly pike pattern. Very fast, very easy, not complicated, basic level tying. I hope you enjoy that. Just mix up your colors according to your species or your prey that you're trying to emulate. You use a lot of chartreuse and blue, purples, blacks, yellows, red, white, red, yellow, black, white, olive and brown, and mix in the appropriate sparkle accordingly, and you'll have an excellent fly that casts very easy, sheds instantly all the water because of the material that's used. None of this is, other than the bucktail, it will absorb a little bit of water, but the vast majority of the pattern is the white predator fiber in the back, and it virtually holds no water at all, so it goes quick and easy. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.